Hi, good afternoon, and my name is Tim Bingham. Thank you for inviting me to speak this afternoon. I'm just going to give you an overall, I suppose, perspective on where this, I suppose, where the darknet, where the darknet drug markets began, and why they become popular in the recent years, and why I do foresee them to become even more popular I suppose, as technologies progress and innovate. So first of all, we have the Silk Road anonymous marketplace. This was launched around about 2010, end of 2010, beginning of 2011, and before that, you had a variety of other sites, mainly the Open Vendor database. And the difference between Open Vendor database and the figment of your imagination, Blue Binary Stars, is that all these other sites traded in other forms of currency, but with the bitcoins actually traded in digital currency. I'm sure you're all aware of actually what bitcoins actually are. Really, it was the Gawker article that launched, I suppose, the Silk Road into the public domain. As I was done some recent research on, I suppose, on the emergence of these markets, as you can see, there was a statement from one of the previous administrators of the Open Vendor database stating I suppose, how it competed in a challenging market space, and that obviously from this actual article, it received a significant public attention. So why are these so popular? How do they actually work? Well, when you talk about drug markets, you talk about open drug markets, and you talk about closed drug markets. And I suppose an open drug market is more riskier in a sense that if you look at the street, if you say take for instance the street, you're purchasing from somebody, a seller on the street, you will not actually necessarily have a relationship with. But when you're actually purchasing, I suppose, in a closed drug market, you've got a relationship between the seller and the buyer. Here on these sites, you actually have what's called cyber relationships, and as I, as they're developed on cyber levels of trust and professionalism, and also sort of, supported by stealth modes. Stealth mode is where it's actually, I suppose, it becomes more and more undetected. Um, Also, the user feedback and resolution modes, make this site and other sites very, advantageous. I suppose the advantage of these sites, so I suppose Silk Road was the first model really to start this off, is where your reputation was open to all. So as I say, as the vendor said, if you mess up, it's reflected in your feedback and ratings. So I mean, in a sense, you've got that cyber relationship, and we've also got kind of this kind of eBay way of racing a vendor. So when it comes, I suppose, when it comes to distribution, vendors on the marketplaces generally offer higher quality products than those are generally available on the streets. And I suppose you're reducing the risk of coercion, violence, and arrest and exposure to other drugs as well on the street by purchasing from these particular marketplaces. Obviously, the online distribution removes any of the middlemen involved in the conventional drug supply chains. So in other words, you're reducing the risk of that face-to-face interaction, and therefore also reducing the any street dealing actually within communities, but also reducing the face-to-face interaction, and therefore reducing violence and intimidation. It's posted directly from the producers to the consumers. And obviously, as I mentioned earlier on, the feedback plays a critical role in regulating these markets. So in 2013, we all very well aware that the Silk Road website went down, and a number of us, I suppose, suspected other marketplaces would come from this. So where we are today in 2015, I suppose really since 2013 up to where we are now, we've had a number of I've had a number of marketplaces open up, close down. There's been a few scams, but really all this has done is actually created this market displacement. And I remember when I was speaking to this guy called Mike Power, he said, when Silk Road was closed down, it gave the greatest publicity for these marketplaces ever, because I mean every media organization was commenting, was making everybody else aware of what had happened, what Silk Road was, but also how inadvertently through the media attention, it was explaining to people exactly what these marketplaces actually do and how you can actually get on them. So the model itself, what have we learned? These obviously for these various marketplaces use the same template that Silk Road uses, and also that the website administrators continue to minimise the risk of detection by law enforcement. So their technology, I suppose the new technologies they're using all the time to risk the detection is innovative, and it is going to continue to be innovative. When I bring this back to, I suppose, Ireland, very recently we had a national student drug survey, and it stated that where people normally buy the drugs from, and about 5% of the population, just under 5% of the students would from this population would normally buy their illegal drugs from the dark net. Violence and intimidation, you can see on the graph, but from this graph, literally less than 1% of people who normally buy from the darknet may sort of buy from street dealers as well, but majority of these will buy from the darknet, and their violence and intimidation was only literally less than 1%, was 0.89%. So it shows again, this is evidence to show that this does actually reduce violence. Finally, I'm going to leave you with this statement, which might hopefully feed into your discussions this afternoon. And thank you for listening. All the best. Bye bye.